a lovely way to start the evening. Can we give them a big round of applause? Good evening, people. Welcome to Jordan. It's such an honor to be here with you today. I'm your host for tonight, Randa Karachi. I'll be speaking in both Arabic and English. أهلاً وسهلاً بالجميع. سعيدة جداً أكون موجودة معكم اليوم، وصراحة ما في أحلى من هالطاقة وما في أحلى من هالانرجي اللي عم ناخدها منكم. فاليوم هيك بدنا حماس وبدنا طاقة. الأردن إحدى الدول العديدة اللي رح تكون بهذا المشروع الكبير اللي إلنا من أشهر عم نسمع عنه. So I'll be speaking in both Arabic and English because the crowd is both Indian, Jordanian, from all nationalities. It's lovely seeing all of you tonight. So Sadhguru, the founder of Conscious Planet and Safe Soil, will be joining us later on stage. How excited are we to hear that? I am personally a big fan of Sadhguru. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. And having him here on stage and in Jordan is definitely amazing. See, throughout the years, we've always been talking about climate change. But when we're actually living climate change, it's a different deal altogether. I think all of us are feeling the climate change with the weather. And the past couple of days in Amman, it was a bit dusty, hasn't it been? And that's what they say, it's part of climate change. So Sadhguru started his solo motorbike journey from London on March 21st for 30,000 kilometers across 27 countries. How lucky are we to have him in Jordan? So, from the UK to Europe to the Middle East and back to India. Today we are in Jordan to spread a message of environmental awareness. Safe soil is necessary to maintain life on our planet. Please feel free to share this message on social media and tag us on Conscious Planet and hashtag Save Soil. أهلاً وسهلاً بالجميع. إحنا بنعرف دائماً بنحكي عن تغير المناخي والتغير البيئي. بس لما إحنا نكون عم نعيش بهاي البلد وعم نشوف التغير البيئي بالعالم كله، فهاي يعني شوي نداء لنا كلنا إنه ننقذ هالأرض اللي هي مسؤوليتنا. وعشان هيك أظن كلنا موجودين اليوم، وسادغورو عم بيروح بكل أنحاء العالم عشان يحمل هالرسالة معه. We live in an interconnected world, and I think through COVID, we've seen how interconnected we are together. For the past 2 years, we've lived in isolation, and I don't think it's the best feeling ever. Having everyone gathered around, we started appreciating each other more. And we know that Sadhguru's mission and journey will send a message to the whole world. Wouldn't it? Let me hear a big round of applause. So let's be part of solutions. Let's be part of the change. And let's gather together for a good cause today. It's our responsibility to save our planet. Here's a video to present and explain the science behind the Save Soil campaign. Let's watch it together.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects, but we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less than what now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? what is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy. In most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth.
The microbial life in the first 12 to 15 inches of topsoil is the basis of our existence. It is this magic beneath our feet which has produced the life that we are. This first 12 to 15 inches of soil is the basis of life for 87% of life on this planet, including you and me.
We have to begin to recognize that what we call our soil, Mother Earth, is a living organism.
Open soils, ripped open by plowing, open to sunlight, is the basis of destruction of microbial life. So the focus should be on agriculture, the focus should be on seeing that and as much as possible, some kind of shade, grasses, herbs, bushes, trees. Conscious Planet is launching Save Soil movement to bring about a policy change to regenerate soil. As a part of this, I'm 65 and I'm riding 30,000 kilometers, a lone motorcycle journey, 30,000 kilometers across 24 nations to activate support from the citizenry to assure the governments long-term investments will be appreciated. So it's extremely important that soil regeneration is enshrined in the policy of every government on the planet. We must change the narrative on the planet that soil is a wealth, a legacy we have received from previous generations, and we have to pass it on as living soil for future generations. We are in a cusp of time. If you do the right things now, in the next 15 to 25 years, we can significantly turn this situation around and regenerate the soil. But if we allow this to progress like this for another 30 to 40 years, after 40 years if we attempt this, then it could take 150 to 200 years because that much loss of biodiversity would have happened. From 21st of March for 100 days, the whole world, every human being on the planet should talk soil. So we must hear the word soil, save soil everywhere to see that the narrative on the planet changes towards the most vital aspect of our life, the soil. Each one of you should reach as many people as you can to make this happen. Many global leaders and influencers are already participating in the movement. Be a part of this and let us make it happen.
For my part, as much as I can contribute.
And the movement that you are taken up, I could not expect any more God's blessing than that.
Sadhguru, and this campaign is so important.
We're going to save the soil. Do your part.
And saving the soils.
And our planet's future depend on it.
Sadhguru, save soil, my friend.
Save soil, let's make it happen.
Antigua and Barbuda is part of the Save Soil mission.
We commend you for what you're doing. That is why we are happy to sign the MOU.
The science and philosophy that backs the thought behind the movement is tremendous.
Save soil, let's make it happen.
Save
the soil.
We know what we must do, so let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make this happen.
Let us make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Are we going to make it happen? Are we going to make it happen? Let's make it happen. So, envisioned by Sadhguru, Project Samskriti offers classes and performances of Indian classical arts, including music and Kalari Payato, a martial art form. These intricate arts have been employed for thousands of years as spiritual processes. And we know that arts are an international language. Everyone can understand arts. So the artists today have invested in these arts from the age of 7. It's not a hobby. It has become a way of life. We are eager to see their performances, which will begin with an offering by Radhi Jagi, a classical Bharatanatyam dancer. I'm sorry for my Indian, it's not that good. So please, let's give a big round of applause to this beautiful performance.
Namaskaram. One with a fierce heart of fire, draped in the rivers and oceans, with hair of open sky, and her body the ground beneath our feet. Mother Earth, our source and sustenance, time is ticking away as we exploit this strong and gentle source of life. To build our lives, our comforts, our luxuries, we have ignored her call, her plea. As her children, we suffer the consequences of our actions upon her. Time is ticking away. It's time to reinvigorate and celebrate the mother that has birthed us, fed us, and the one who will embrace us into her bosom in our death. O Mother, in celebration of your grandeur, in concern of your well-being, in love with all that you are to us, we dance in tune with your rhythm as we are only a part of you.
Beneath my feet, your soil. When you rise, you become a tree. Again, you fall as a leaf. Who are you? You come up as a crop. You give me life as food. Whether I am alive or dead, you are the only refuge. Who are you? You come as water. You come as milk. You come as honey. Who are you? If I eat, it is soil. If I breathe, it is soil. If I die, it is soil. Oh, my mother, who are you? Soil. In the root, there is a stalk. In the stalk, there is branch. In the branch, leaves, bud, flower and fruit, all rooted in soil. That is not our making. The soil, the very soul of all life, shall neither perish nor is created, but in a constant turnaround. A tree and a termite hill, the rough hide of an elephant and the fine silk of the spider, the beasts that you kill and the people that you love, all a recycle of soil, soil and soil.
What an outstanding performance! Wow! I mean, the energy across this hall is amazing. Sadhguru, it's such an honor to stand here in front of you and all the audience. A big applause to Sadhguru. Honestly, it's a big honor to have you here in Jordan. And I think what you're doing is a wonderful message to the whole world. And I know together we can, and we can make a difference. And you going around the whole world, 27 countries, 300,000 kilometers, is no joke. We're so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. 30,000 kilometers across the world. This is a big deal. I'm sure your trip and journey hasn't been easy. You've been through a lot of ups and downs, good days and bad days, to save soil around the world. And a lot has happened with Sadhguru. This is day number 45? 45. We're almost there, aren't we? Look at the bright side, we're almost there. Let's take a look at some of the glimpses with Sadhguru's journey throughout the past 45 days. And of course, we'll continue the evening. معلش أنا حكيت بالبداية رح أحكي بالعربي والإنجليزي بس سرحت بالإنجليزي. يمكن إحنا سعيدين جدا بوجود سادغورو. إحنا عم نحكي اليوم عن موضوع إنقاذ التربة واللي هي يمكن لما إحنا نحكي الأرض هي بيتنا وأمنا فإحنا دورنا إنه نحافظ عليها. فسادغورو ب 30,000 كيلو 27 بلد الآن هو بالأردن بيوم ال 45. رح نشوف بعض من اللمحات والجولات اللي أخذها خلال هالبلاد اللي كان فيها سواء ببريطانيا بأوروبا والآن بالوطن العربي.
It's a great pleasure for me. These beautiful Caribbean nations are going for this first.
This memorandum of understanding that we are signing, it will also bring some technical assistance to the Caribbean region.
This is a historic moment because here is the first step to turn around.
You are probably one of the most famous Indians, and what you're doing today is really important because people like you who have a wonderful following of millions and millions of people, and what you're doing with that is so important with saving the soil.
If you want to say, I love you to your child, you must just say save soil, because it is a more committed way of saying I love you.
Every single one of us needs to get behind this really, really important mission.
It's an extraordinary campaign. It echoes what we in the Commonwealth have been aspiring to do for a number of years.
Next 100 days from 21st of March, we want the whole world to talk about soil.
It is not about the motorcycle,
It's not about the journey, it's not about the song, it is about moving people on the planet. Make it happen, huh?
Nobody spoke about soil like Sadhguru does. I think if we all contribute, then we have a really strong voice.
There has been so much excitement and everybody is so excited to hear Sadhguru.
This is our time on the planet. What we do here is our business. Let's do the right things.
I honestly didn't feel a part of the movement before. Obviously, I'd never met him. Seeing what kind of a following he has and how impactful it is, I really feel like I just joined a global movement.
Graffiti artists supporting this Save Soil movement, wanting to inspire the youth, and youth being the major population in most parts of the world today, all graffiti artists, to whatever walls that you have, make sure that you use this. One of the most beautiful cities of Europe.
It really resonated with me, the message that we have to save our soil.
It's our common issue together. It's not for one nation, for one person, but we as people have to unite and to solve this.
This is a celebration of human beings coming together to do what they need to do. Had a wonderful meeting with the Agriculture Minister of Slovenia. Rešimo prst! All of us have been part of this destruction. The only way is all of us become part of the solution also. Riding on to Italy. Italy is raining heavily tonight. We are in Venice.
So it's like a wave of hope.
Is necessary for the future.
Over 2000 years ago, this eternal city made the mistake of over-farming the region, and the erosions that caused did tremendous damage, and that was also the fall of the city at that time. So, the Romans of today should never make that mistake once again.
And we are very happy that we are aligned in our message to really high the profile of soils, and we believe that is very much needed.
Young people getting into farming is very good. That's the future of the world.
Thank you.
Here we are in Geneva.
I think it's a message of urgency, but it's also a message of hope. So I would really like to thank Sadhguru for his leadership.
The global movement led by him addresses the soil crisis by mobilizing people around the entire world.
It touches your heart, you know, and his message is strong.
This massive fountain in the Lake of Geneva is lit up for Save Soil today with Save Soil colors of blue and green. You cannot stop this. The moment is on. It's going to be on till the policies are done. See, when people want it, it definitely will happen. There's no question about it. Tell me, will it happen? Yeah! In this cold, slippery road and the winds are picking up speed, no matter what the hell, I have to keep going. You think this is a problem? relentless commitment to what you do. That is the only solution. Save soil, let's make it happen.
We already have one action, which is an MOU to be signed between Isha Foundation and 4,000 Initiative Soils for Food Security and Climate for cooperation in achieving our objective of creating a healthier soil.
We were just sharing exactly the same objective, increasing carbon content in the soil.
I'm really humbled by your campaign, Sadhguru. What you are doing is really impressive.
First, I would like to thank Sadhguru for this campaign. I'm quite amazed and thrilled by it.
I was very honored to be on the stage and be able to actually express that his mission is what we need.
It's fantastic. France has been great. Well, Brussels.
Let's put together and work on a common message for all to save a resource that determines our future. Save the soil.
We should all stand up and make the most impact we can to create a real change in the world.
Get the bottom!
And then a smashing evening at the main event. And a super enthusiastic crowd committing themselves to make this happen.
It's heartwarming to see everybody come together.
Save soil, on the move. Let's make it happen. Just look up the news and see in the last 4 months, how many governments have started talking about soil because they see it's picking up momentum. But if you create 3 to 4 billion people talking about soil, that's it. That will be the main conversation in the government.
Save the Soil is a very important movement that we support as UNCCD. We would like to propose to the world to do whatever they can to protect the soil, because it is our future.
Save soil, let's make it happen.
I need someone to show me the way. I need someone to show me the way.
The Education Ministry in Germany has now come into the picture officially and asked all the children to do artwork to support Save Soil movement. Good, Arjun, wonderful. Congratulations that you wrote to the Prime Minister.
Let's make it happen!
So, on the way to Bratislava, well, the road surface is not great, too many puddles of water, so can't maintain very high speed. It's great that all of you are here in Bratislava. Nobody ever imagined 100 years ago that we will have to save soil of all the things.
Thank you for coming to Slovakia. It's wonderful, and I'm very happy that with your campaign.
Would you like to come in the kitchen and cook with me a little bit?
Why not? Without soil being rich, food won't be rich. Without food being rich, our bodies will not be of full potential. What do you call it?
It's a Sadhguru salad.
Table 12. The old heroes always built something which stands up like this. But the new heroes are those people who will nurture the soil which always lies beneath our feet, never stands up. Oh, this wonderful city of Belgrade. The UNFAO said something which really deeply hurt me, is the soil that we are consuming right now belongs not even to these little children, belongs to the unborn child. This is an expression of our love and responsibility for our own lives and the future lives.
I love the message that he sent and how he broadened it, that it's everybody's responsibility.
I think there is a great potential for a good collaboration, partnership with the campaign Save Soil, and what we are doing as a government. We can make it together.
It's very important, bringing a certain sense of love and celebration towards the land that we walk upon.
It's just after noon, but temperatures are around 2 degrees, morning it was below zero. Not a weather for motorcycle for sure. Going from Sofia to Bucharest,
organize yourselves whichever way you want, form groups, come together somehow and see this happens.
Sadhguru reminded me that I have a voice.
The people from Istanbul were really amazed by Sadhguru to appear, and they were just so happy to see him.
This many people, if all of you are committed and you spend 15–20 minutes a day to enhance the message, I think I don't have to go on riding like crazy. Yesterday I rode 18 hours, can you believe this, through Bulgarian roads?
His honest expression of his wisdom and love for humanity, I think.
He's been riding through very, rough terrain, rough roads, dusty construction sites.
It was a long drive and we were getting a little late for the live event at Tbilisi.
He, right at the end, maybe 5 minutes before the event, decided that he couldn't stop for a break.
In the traffic, he was just removing his jacket and gloves and throwing in the car just to make it on time.
The whole purpose of this moment is to bring this home, that when you walk up on the soil, you know it is the source of your life. Keeping it alive is the most important thing. Will you make it happen? We could have touched, or nearly about 1.2 to 1.3 billion people have spoken about soil since 21st of March. But that's not good for us. We want 3 to 4 billion people.
He's a gift from God for the people, for the earth, for the soil.
Save soil.
Save soil!
Save soil.
A unique document for 192 different nations. It's not really a policy, but it's a handbook that when you frame the policy, it'll be useful.
Soil.
Wonderful, thank you so much for standing up for soil.
We must save the soil, we must plant the trees, we must replenish the forests, we must save our planet.
I felt tired looking at the video. I don't know what you've been through, honestly. Having such a wonderful message and protecting the world. And I think the unity that we felt throughout COVID, although we were so far away from each other, but we really felt that Earth needs us and Mother Earth is calling us. And this message is one powerful message, and we're so proud and happy to have you here in Jordan. And the way we say it is أهلا وسهلا, so we'll tell you أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا فيك بالأردن. I mean, to spread such a powerful message, and for one person to travel 27 countries holding one message, and we've already been hearing the word أنقذوا التربة, or save the soil, for the past couple of years. We want to thank you for saving the earth, and it's our mission now to save the earth. Are we ready for that, people? Are we going to save soil? معالي الوزراء أهلا وسهلا فيكم كمان، شرفتونا. بعرف مش حابين بس لازم كمان نرحب فيكم. أهلا وسهلا. First of all, let me introduce Dr. Iyad Abu Mughli, the Director of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, Faith for Earth Initiative. When we say that Sadhguru is riding, Sadhguru is not riding for himself. He is riding for whom? For all of us. For you, for me, for everyone. Right? A big round of applause, people. Are we with Sadhguru? Are we with him? Please allow me to welcome Dr. Iyad Abu Mughli, the Director of the United Nations Environment Program, on stage.
Assalamu alaikum, namaste, greetings of peace and blessings. Our Faith for Earth UNEP counselor, visionary and yogic leader, Sadhguru, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome Sadhguru to Jordan as part of his historic 100 days journey across 27 countries on a noble mission to save soil through the remarkable, the Conscious Planet movement. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is facing a complex web of crises that are all interconnected. The triple planetary crisis of climate change, nature degradation, and pollution, coupled with socio-economic challenges that have been exacerbated by the notorious COVID-19 and the global conflicts and disputes that we are seeing today. However, we often disregard the underlying causes of these challenges, being the crises of greed, apathy, indifference, and ethics. Our overconsumption of the limited natural resources of our only planet for immediate economic gains has led us to the age of the Anthropocene, which is where humans are the detrimental factor affecting life on Earth. The Safe Soil campaign comes in a critical and right moment in time, as it is part of the web of crises. Soil degradation and soil erosion are two critical issues contributing to or a consequence of these planetary crises. The United Nations Environment Program, in its report, says that the deterioration of soils, the subsequent loss of soil water storage, and the reduction of water retention in the landscape are disturbing the movement of water in and through the atmosphere. This disruption causes major shifts in precipitation that could lead to less rainfall and more droughts in many areas of the world. Increases in regional temperatures and an exacerbation of climate change. Here in Jordan, we know exactly what stress, water stress means to people, to agriculture, to industry, and to nature, as Jordan is the second most water scarce country in the world, according to a UNICEF report. Recognizing the importance of saving soil and addressing ecosystems as a whole, the United Nations Environment Programme, with its sister agency, the Food and Agricultural Organization, launched last June the Year of Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. Therefore, this Conscious Planet campaign to save soil comes in direct contribution to the global efforts. As myself as the director of the Faith for Earth Coalition of UNEP, I have launched a global strategy to highlight the importance of the role of ethics and values and religious beliefs in contributing to ecosystem restoration. I am glad that Sadhguru is taking the lead among visionary leaders in bringing an ethical approach to address soil degradation and mobilizing actions by millions of people around the world, including decision makers, international organizations, religious leaders, as well as the public. I was honored to host Sadhguru during the United Nations Environment Assembly that we held a couple of months ago. This assembly is the highest global policy-making body on environmental issues. With 10 other leaders, Sadhguru spoke about our moral and spiritual responsibility towards Earth and natural resources. Sadhguru's message on soil, our very body, was loud and clear and resonated with the United Nations effort to curb soil degradation and soil erosion. On June 5th, the World Environment commemorates the World Environment Day. This year's theme slogan is Only One Earth. This comes exactly 50 years after the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment held in Stockholm in 1972. 50 years later, we have degraded more soil, destroyed more ecosystems, and are on the fringe of a global food crisis. This year's Stockholm Plus 50 conference, to be held next June, is asking people, what future do you want? Our answer should be a world of ethics, moral responsibility, and compassion with all elements of life and with one another. Soil is the root of life, as has been reiterated by Sadhguru more and more and time and again. In his campaign to raise awareness about soil management challenges, including loss of soil, biodiversity, soil erosion, and degradation. Through this campaign, we call upon governments, communities, and individuals around the world to commit to improving soil health. The ecosystem services provided by soil is important for our own living. The living soil, according to Sadhguru, is thus important to maintain these ecosystems services. The Conscious Planet campaign has been shedding a bright light on these critical elements. We need more visionary leaders like Sadhguru to highlight environmental challenges we are facing and act upon them. So let's make it happen. Thank you very much, and the best of luck to Sadhguru in his remainder of the journey. وطأت أهلا وحللت سهلا. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And now to take the movement forward with an affirmative action, I warmly welcome Dr. Nizar Haddad, the Director General of the National Agricultural Research Center, NARS, to please come on stage and address the audience. Thank you very much.
Sadhguru, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, allow me to confess that it will be really very difficult to speak after such wonderful, impressive, comprehensive speech after you, Doctor. And I feel like in a trap because after me Sadhguru will be speaking, who is really inspiring for all this movement. I would love to say that it is exactly the right time to work toward solving this very important issue, going back to nature and understanding the difficulty and the threat that is facing the next generation. Especially here in Jordan, we are facing a clear deterioration of the soil due to different reasons. One of those reasons, as just was mentioned, that we are officially the second poorest country in the world with water. However, I think that we are the first. However, I think that we are the first poorest country in the world with water, with one reason. Those who are poorer than us with water, their capital cities are on the beach. So they can directly desalinate water and they have gas and oil to desalinate. And the second reason why it is becoming more and more challenging is that Jordan was always opening its hands and heart for all those who are not having a safe house. And Jordan was opening hands and hearts for all those who are not having safe house. And this is why we lost many of those lands that were really very fertile. Because the philosophy of this country was built on al-insan aghla ma namlik. The human being is the first and the most important treasure that we own as a country. And therefore, I think and believe that your visit, Sadhguru, to this country will highlight, and I'm really impressed, you know, the organizing committee, landmark, what you did is really amazing. It's really amazing to have all this group of people coming here, thinking and trying to contribute to save the soil. I would like to say, as being the head or the Director General of the scientific arm of the Ministry of Agriculture, the National Agriculture Research Center, and also the scientific arm for the Ministry of Environment, I think we can do a lot together. What you are doing, Sadhguru, you are humanitizing science. You are making science, you are giving the dress code of human being to, even you said in one of your videos, humus within the soil, اللي هو المادة العضوية في التربة, and human are coming from the same root. I really like that. I would love to add on it, soul and soil are really very close to each other. So you have been able to speak to our souls, how to solve the problem of soil, and I believe we as scientists, we need to learn how to simplify things if we really understand them, to make them understandable for everyone. Thank you very much again, and we look forward to hear from you.
Wow, Dr. Nizar, you were telling us you were overwhelmed and you weren't able to speak. Thank you for your lovely words. Honestly, maybe if I look at the faces of everyone here, and if you feel the energy that I'm feeling and I'm getting while standing here, Sadhguru, I don't know how you would feel in each and every country you've been through. Maybe Dr. Nizar has mentioned a very important point. True, Jordan is short of many things. And maybe one thing is we all, as Jordanians, have a warm heart and a welcoming heart. And us opening our doors to all the other countries and people in need, this is how we're brought up and this is how Jordanians are. And that's why I believe whatever is going on, and with Sadhguru's efforts, we will all be united to save the world and make it a better place. So thank you for your kind words. So, now it is my honor to welcome on stage the Ambassador of India to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, His Excellency Anwar Halim.
Honorable Sadhguru, very distinguished participants, members of Jordanian society and community, Mary Nazal, and all of you. Assalamu alaikum, namaskaram, good afternoon. First of all, I'm very grateful and privileged to be here on this day. This is a very, very special day, a very rare day, that personality like Sadhguru is among us. I'll come to that, but first of all, let me reiterate that the relation between Jordan and India had always been more than friendly. They are brotherly. We have so many commonalities, similarities in society, in culture, in ideas, and towards the end of the life, which are immense. And perhaps the vision of Sadhguru is a very harmonious representation of all that. Our relationship, especially very personal and friendly relation between His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan and Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi of India, is a manifestation of closeness among us. And I extend my appreciation and gratitude to both the leaders and to the country, Jordan, which has hosted me for more than 2.5 years. There are very few occasions in the human history when someone comes up, a person who, in his persona and in his mind, is someone of immense inspiration like Sadhguru. I remember when he arrived, that was the first day of Eid. And I have seen in Aqaba how people came to him and how he was welcomed and how he has captivated the heart and mind of people throughout. That too on the first day of Eid and second and third day is amazing and testimony to the influence and your vision and your focus on the subject. Let me, very distinguished speakers have already said so much that I would not touch that subject again, but I would definitely like to touch another area. Number one, with my personal interaction with Sadhguru, I am very deeply humbled. I am very deeply humbled because of his simplicity, his integrity, his perseverance, and his focus on the subject. This is the subject which is of utmost significance to all of us. Many have said about Jordan, water is scarce and everything. We should always remember that nearly 4 billion years ago when Earth was formed, it has to pass through certain stages and phases, and the soil is a result of that. Our whole human existence and subsistence is based on that 3 feet of soil, without which our life is meaningless, we are no more. And Sadhguru, you have been focusing on that, and truly it is not towards safe soil. I would say it is towards saving humanity and human life. Let me give you another version of what I would say towards this. India has been a land of ideas, a civilization, a continuous civilization for thousands of years. Like Jordan has been, if you visit Al-Ghazal site, it is history of more than 9,000 years ago. And even at that time, the focus of this civilization was how to protect soil and earth. Large number of battles, war, agreements have happened due to this. The changes in the geography of this region has also been the reason behind the changes of empires and rulers. In India, we have a text, and I would again repeat, you all should try to go to your home and read it. It is the final chapter of Shugla Yajurved. Very simple 2 lines, but in brief it says like this: with respect to the God who has created everything, and I have blessed the earth. Enjoy it, but within limits. It is probably this idea of how to streamline and synchronize our life with the nature we are blessed with is of utmost significance. And Sadhguru, you have visited this idea again and put it so powerfully that this presence in this hall is a testimony to that. And this is a blessing which no one can refute. If we read the Quran, again and again Surah Rahman says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Again and again it says, O people, how long can you refute my blessings? Soil is one of the biggest blessings, and we should not refute this. We should respect it, obey it, and follow it. If we read the Bible of Mark, Matthew, again the focus comes on soil. If we read the writings of Gautam Buddha, again the focus is on soil and environment and earth. And among all these saints, the most powerful in this regard is Sadhguru himself. He has moved the whole vision, the idea, and has inspired people, as we have seen from the video, like anything. And you deserve, Sadhguru, tons of appreciations for that. We have seen the video, how he has been, there is no one in the world right now who can move so many people at the level of people, public, popular level, throughout the world, in different languages, societies, countries, cultures, and the journey is going on. It is immense. In the modern day, there would be many approaches toward environment, but there is only one most popular approach on soil, and that is Sadhguru's. I think your approach is very relevant to Jordan, the people of Jordan. The atmosphere, society respects it and they demand it. I have seen in the last 3 days how many at the highest level people have responded, and they have discussed in great detail about it. We are very fortunate that this icon from India, which has now turned into the icon of the world in this regard, is among us. I'd also urge all of you to give a big hand to Sadhguru. And we are very, very fortunate, Sadhguru, that you are among us. And everyone is waiting for your words on this subject and on life, which can guide us further and more. And Jordan be a very, very important chapter of your book. And another thing, I have not seen, I rode motorbike myself. I have never seen someone has so much of energy to ride the motorcycle for 6 hours and 8 hours. Commendable. I think more than that also. This is the journey which reflects the unity of societies and of people and their mind throughout the world. And this is 44th day, could be 45th if we see the lunar side and the time difference. Now with that, may I request Sadhguru to please come on the stage with the audience.
Turn around. Turn around, turn around.
Can we have all the audience carry the Save the Soil banner so we could take a full photo together?
That's okay.
Only the small ones, okay.
It's all right. Hello. Please. Jananam sukadham maranam karunam milanam maduram smaranam karunam kalavashadiha sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. It's my fortune and privilege that I'm in your country during the period of Eid. Greetings to all of you. Well, a lot has been said about soil, we'll come to that. Even when I was in… when I was in school, I played in almost every sporting team that was there in the school. Like, I was in the football team, I was in the field hockey team, I was in the kabaddi team, I was in the volleyball team and the shuttle badminton team and I was in the boxing team. So most of the time I only played games. That's the only reason I went to school. So every year I get lots of medals, cups, whatever, certificates on the school days and other things. But I never went up and received even once because I was always so embarrassed about people clapping at me and saying whatever things. But today, His Excellency the Ambassador has gone out of his way to embarrass me, absolutely. So well, see, there are many ways to look at life. Can I tell you a story, what happened in my life? When we were children, my father being a physician, we lived in a city. But my ancestral home was in a small town or a large village or maybe a small town you can call it, where they were wealthy people and big landowners and a huge home. During summer vacations, about all of us, cousin brothers and sisters who live in different cities, we all arrived at our ancestral home approximately. We were about 36 of us, boys and girls, from the age of 3, 4 up to 18 kind of group. One crazy rollicking time of a month and a half out there. So during these times, my great-grandmother, who was already over 100 years of age at that time, she lived up to be 113. So she was not living at home. She… after her husband passed away, a few years later, she moved out and built a temple for herself. Okay not for some god. She built a temple and she sat in the temple. Woman, you know. So people gathered around her, and when all the children came, she came home to see us during those times. There are many things about her, I will cut it down to one aspect which is important for today. One thing I saw about her was, you know, I'm like around 4 or 5 years of age, and I see that if morning her breakfast is given to her, she will go about, she will feed the ants, she will feed the sparrows and squirrels. Nearly 50 to 60% of her food would go to these things. And she will sit there watching them eating, ants are eating her breakfast, and she would sit there with tears flowing out of her eyes. I'm just around 5 years of age and I think she's very emotional about these ants. I go about you know. But she won't stop me, that's the best thing. She won't stop me from killing those ants, but she feeds them. Then I ask her, what is this? You're so emotional about the ants, what's the problem with you? Then she would just laugh loudly and say, someday you will know. It took me another 20 years later that I became like this, that I couldn't look at a leaf or an ant or a cloud or just a whiff of air or breeze without tears in my eyes. You ask me why am I wearing my glasses, that's why. Well, because if you pay enough attention to life, if you pay enough attention to any aspect of life, it is too incredible. It doesn't fit into our intelligence. With all your intelligence, with all your science, with all your technology, do you believe… I know you will say, oh, robots are coming, this will happen, that will happen. Do you really believe you can even manufacture an ant? It is too incredible. It is too incredible. So, unfortunately, human beings have come to this as what is important and what is not important in their life. Whatever created all this did not pay more attention to human beings and less attention to ants. Hello? If you have paid enough attention to an ant, you would realize they are created as intricately as we are. Hello? And the significance of their life is much higher than ours. But we are dominating the place, so we become very crude and we think we are everything. See, it could be happening in countries, it could be happening in communities, it could be happening in families. I'm taking the example of a bad man, okay? Not woman, okay, I'm leaving you alone. There are men who, just because they have the control and the power over a situation, who will do things crudely, that what he says, what he wants is the only thing that should happen in my family or in my community or in my country. Hello? There are people like that, still are. Now, if you… this is how whole humanity is. Just because we have power over a few other things, our abilities and our competence and our intelligence seems to be at a higher level, we are behaving like that man that all of you hate. I'm talking to the woman now. Hello? We are all behaving like that man who is crude and who steps over everything and walks around wantonly without any sense about anything. Hello? As humanity, we've become that man. So I used to see, my grandfather is for those days, he's a very super rich man, and he will sit in the front of the house and people will come in hundreds to see him. He's distributing money, he's talking down to people and acting like a king out there. In the backyard, my great-grandmother is sitting. She sits on the floor and people come after they go through the horrible experience with my grandfather. Because, money transactions, people who are poor have to go through so many things. And then they come to see her. She's got nothing to give, but they come to see her because they genuinely want to see her. And they hold her hand, they fall at her feet, they cry, and they go without any reason. So this had a very deep impression on me that as a human being, it's more important to be sensitive than to be powerful. Hello? Hello? Today, unfortunately, we are looking at everything as power. Money means power, wealth means power, education means power, information means power. It's very important that with the kind of intelligence, with the kind of competence as human beings we've evolved to, it's extremely important. Our sensitivity to life is far more important than our ability to exert our power on everybody. That's the crudest way to live, most uncivilized way to live. Even animals don't do that, I'm just informing you. Hello? So this, our ability to exert power over this planet is what has got us to this place. There is no one evil person or entity sitting somewhere wanting to destroy this planet, there's no such thing. It is just in our pursuit of happiness and well-being, we are just destroying everything around us. Because we were… Is it okay, can I continue a little more with my great-grandmother? Because she lived that long, People used to say she's a devil of a woman. Not because she did anything evil, because if she laughed, the whole street shook. Like that she would laugh. Those days, I'm sure it was so here also in this part of the world, women were not supposed to laugh loudly. Hello? If they cry, it was natural. If they laugh, it was unnatural. Hey, I want to hear some lady laughter. Hello. I'm sorry for the women for all that, but I really pity the men. How did they live with women who cannot laugh? Hello? It must be really pathetic. Hello? It must be really pathetic to live with women who cannot laugh. No laughter in the house. How do you live in that damn place? Well, she was called a devil of a woman because when she laughs, there's no limit. She will shake the street. And there are various aspects to her. And she was, in India at that time, there was a thing that a woman or a girl cannot use tobacco till she is married. She got married at the age of 14. The day she got married, she exercised her right and started smoking and using tobacco, chewing tobacco. So when she was 111 years of age, she got throat cancer. She refused to be treated. She refused to take painkillers, nothing. She simply sat with her throat swollen like that in extreme pain, but she simply sat quietly, she couldn't speak. She just sat till the last day she cooked her own food. At 113, she passed away. Why I'm saying this is because today, unfortunately, humanity is deeply contaminated with information, deeply. All kinds of nonsensical stuff. Everybody can go online or just read 2 WhatsApp messages and act like a soil scientist. Yes, about everything. People know… when people know everything, they're a disaster, just know this. We have replaced human attention with information. We don't pay attention to anything. We know everything. I read about you online. I know you. I don't have to pay attention how you sit, how you stand, how you speak. No, I already know you because I've read your goddamn page. We have become like this. Once you lose your attention, you lost the creation itself. If you lost the creation, definitely you lost the source of creation in your life. You're just a bundle of nonsense that you think is valuable, just information. Through the screen today, everybody has seen the cosmos. Hello? Nobody has even time to look at somebody's face. Everything is here, everything is here. Well, technology is a powerful thing if you know how to use it. Right now, this Save Soil movement is even possible only because of technology. This is the first time in the history of humanity we can stand here and talk to the entire world. When was it possible? Many great beings have come in this world. When they spoke, even hardly 10 people could hear. This is the first time we can stand here and speak to the entire world. When we have such a power, if we do not create the world that we want to live in, it shows we just don't care. Hello? Because in our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, that's not the issue. But if we do not do what we can do, we are a disastrous life. What we can do must happen. What we cannot do will not happen, that's all right. But for the first time, when you are able to talk to the entire world, how are we using this capability? This is a very important thing. You have a phone, you have phone, smartphone or dumb phone? Huh? Smartphone, okay. No, I'm just checking because you generally refer to somebody as smart only if they are smarter than you, right? No, I'm just being mean, it's okay. So you have a smartphone, but of course you have a need to send a few silly messages to somebody, please do that. I'm not against that, but this is a powerhouse. What you're holding in your hand is not just a phone, it's a powerhouse. Just you, one person can reach the entire world if you have a relentless commitment to do so. Yes or no? Question is only, will you do it? The question is only, will you do it? That is a question. Hello? Oh, I have to ask this question 3 times, will you do it? Yes! Because this is not just my planet, this is ours. Hello? This is ours. We have divided ourselves, unfortunately, in the name of nations, in the name of religions, race, caste, creed, gender, this, that nonsense. Every possible way that you can divide humanity, we have done it. But it's extremely important that we find some common factors, some common denominators which connect all of us. If you do not understand what is this all-unifying cosmic consciousness, leave that. At least soil. You have come from the soil, you eat of the soil. When they bury you one day, oh, you're all dying people or immortal people? I'm just checking. Hello? Dying people? All dying people. I'll bless you with a long life, but you must die one day. Hello? Hello? Yes, it's very important because if you've not done anything eco-friendly, that is one thing which is ecologically very good, that we put our body back into the soil. Yes, it belongs there. I'm saying this because recently somebody started a business, some entrepreneurship, of course from United States, where they're advertising that if you pay them $1.7 million, when you die, whenever that is, they will take your body and leave it in the space. Now if they leave it in the space, because there is no oxygen and there is no microbial activity, your body will not rot, it'll be just as it is and it'll float around forever till somebody picks you up one day, I don't know what. I'm saying if you have not done anything sensible in your life, at least when you die, put the damn thing back into the earth. Because we took it from there. The food that we ate is the soil. We took it from there and made it into our flesh and bone. When we are done with this, it must go back there, isn't it? Hello? But our sense of power and our sense of capability has become like this, we will take our bodies and let it float in the space, or we will put it in metal boxes and store it up like a parking lot. This is also happening in large scale. It's time we understand, do what we want. Without the fundamental aspects of nature supporting us, we won't exist for a moment. Let me put this into perspective for you. See, if all the insects on the planet, why I'm talking about insects is 84% of the biomass insects are dead in the last 70 years, 84%. So if all the insects disappear tomorrow morning, in another 4.5 to 6 years, every life on the planet, including you and me, will be clean wiped out. If all the worms disappear, in 2.5 to 4 years, every life on the planet, including you and me, will be gone. If all the microbial planet disappears right now, we will end right now. 60% of your very body is microbial life. Only 40% is your parental genetics. This little girl in one of the cities that I was traveling, she came to me, Sadhguru, I want to do save soil, my mother won't let me, she won't let me even learn the la-la-le-le-le. She is telling me, do homework. I said, you tell your mother she's only 20%. 60% microbial life, 20% your father, she's only 20%, she can tell you that much. This is important that we understand this. Your children don't come from you, they come through you, it's a great privilege. And once we have children, that means we are concerned about the future. Hello? That's a statement. Hello? That is a statement that we don't want this life or this human race to end with me. We want this to go on. That's what it means, children. I was in Tbilisi. In the morning, one TV journalist is interviewing me and he says, Sadhguru, in Georgia, we are not interested in the future. We are interested in our jobs, we are interested in our gas price and this and that and war. I said, that is fine. If you're not at all interested in future, that is fine. This is all coming from these silly ideas of be in the moment. It got you also in Jordan? Huh? You also? Oh. So I said, see, this is fine if you're not at all interested in future. But do one thing as a nation, stop having children, because once you have children, you have expressed that you're concerned about the future. Hello? Yes. Because once you have a child, it's a 20-year project. If you're not ready for a 20-year project, you should not go for it. It's 20 years only if they do well. If they don't do well, it's a lifelong project. So this aspect of we thinking we are supremely important, we must understand this. If the insects die, in 4 to 6 years everything will end. If the worms die, in 2 to 4 years everything will end. If all of us disappear, planet will flourish, we better know that. So other life is not happening because of us. Because of them we are happening. We are just a consequence of that microscopic life. Where did we get this sense of self-significance? Oh, all the human suffering that's happening, where do you think it's manufactured? In Jordan? Hello? Where is it manufactured? No, you didn't hear that. Every day I meet so many thousands of people, the varieties of sufferings that people have invented is unbelievable. If they're poor, they suffer the poverty. If they become rich, they suffer the taxes. If they're uneducated, they suffer that. Put them to school, daily suffering. If they're not married, they suffer that. Get them married. I didn't say anything. I did not say anything. No children, they suffer that. Give them children, daily pain in the neck. So what is it that they're not suffering? They're suffering everything, they're suffering life itself. Offer them death, they'll suffer that. So the problem is this, the problem is not of life. The problem is you have not even learned how to manage your mind. When will you learn this? You are 25, 30, 50, 60 years of age, you have still not learned how to use your thought and emotion for your well-being. When will you learn this? I just want to know in Jordan, what is your life expectancy? Are you 10,000 years or something? Hello? Then when will you learn? By 30, 40, 50, if you have not learned how to use your thought and emotion the way you want, when is it? See, it's like this. Suppose please make a fist with your right hand, all of you. And now bong, 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 start it. Suppose your right hand starts hitting you. What to do? If you have a friend or family, they will hold you, no, 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 don't do this, don't do this. But chun, chun, chun. Then if nothing works, they will tie this hand to the chair. If that also doesn't work, maybe we'll have to amputate this hand, otherwise you'll kill yourself. Right now, that's all that's happening with human beings. They don't know how to use their own thought and emotion, bong, 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 hitting in the face all the time, sit down, stand up, they're suffering something. Hello? Now to alleviate this suffering, they're digging up the planet, turning it upside down in search of happiness, in search of well-being. Just reminding you, whether it is pain or pleasure, joy or misery, agony or ecstasy, even light or darkness only happens within you. Yes or no? Hello? Hello? It only happens within you. What happens within you must happen your way, isn't it? Hello? That person won't happen your way, this person won't happen your way, that person won't happen you… I know you tried. You try to make some people just the way you want them. I know what's the result. Because nobody in this world will ever happen 100% the way you want them. Have you found anybody like that? Or are you still such a hopeless romantic you're looking? No, you will never find them. You know, in India, there are stories like this. People always say in the villages, you know, wives complaining about their husbands because whatever, whosever fault it is, it doesn't matter. Complaints are there from both ends. So they say, oh, you know what? Krishna was God himself, but his own wives were complaining all the time. Even they were complaining. So it doesn't matter who you find, what you find, nothing will ever happen 100% your way. But this one person must happen your way, isn't it? Hello? If you happen the way you want, would you keep yourself blissed out or miserable? Tell me, you must choose, I'm going to bless you. Blissed out or miserable? Hey, you must choose. Some of you are not choosing, this is the problem. Because you don't understand your present condition of joy or misery, agony or ecstasy is only a question of choice. And that choice has not been made, either within or outside. I'm asking, in which country have at least 60% of the population stood up and expressed that we are concerned about the future well-being of this nation, we are concerned about the future well-being of our children, we are concerned about the environment in this country. In which country have they spoken? They will speak chu like gossip in a tea party or in a dinner party, they will talk and go and sleep. Hello? In which country have people, at least 60% of the adults have raised their voice and said, we are concerned? You don't have to fight, at least you must express. Because every government in the world, whether you understand this or not, whatever type of government you have, one way or the other, they are only trying to fulfill people's mandate. If the people do not express what they want, that will not happen. No single country has anywhere people have expressed. Small groups talking, when they talk also, they all in full anger and resentment, they say war on climate change. God damn it, climate change is bad enough, don't start a war now. And you go on the street in great anger and resentment and shout at everybody. If you get angry, it definitely will cause global warming, isn't it? Hello? Did it happen in your home or no? When you got angry, it caused warming? This is not an agitation. This is not a protest. This is not a fight for sure. This is an expression of our love and responsibility for the very life that we are and every other life that supports us and the future life that should be on this planet. If we have no emotion, no focused thought towards our own well-being, our well-being will be accidental, isn't it? People are always looking at other planets and stars, what is going to happen to my life? Please, God damn it, look at this planet, what happens to this planet will happen to your life for sure. Where the other planets are going, where the stars are going, whether that'll influence you or not, you can debate. But what happens to this planet will definitely determine the quality of your life. Right now, every responsible scientist is pointing out by 2045, we will be producing 40% less food and our population will be over 9 billion people. That's not a world you want to live in. That's not a world where you want to leave your children and go for sure. Hello? Now, they were all talking about water stress. You have the distinction of being number 2. That's not a thing to celebrate. But I'm telling you, by 2032, it is expected that 3.5 billion people on the planet will be water stressed. And this will trigger mass migrations. They're expecting by 2032 to 2035, we will have about 1.2 billion people migrating in the world, mainly because of degraded soils and water stress. And those times are gone when people are thirsty, they just sat in one place and died because they did not know what is happening in some other place. Today everybody is informed, everybody is seeing where it is, everybody has some means of transport and they will travel. Migration. When it is unplanned, forced migration like this, the amount of suffering that human being will go through will never be reported. If 1,000 people die, somebody will write about it. But the suffering that the living go through is worse than the death, especially women and children. The worst suffering during migration happens to women. Worst exploitation happens to women. A stable society is very, very, very essential if women on this planet have to live well. Wherever there is any kind of strife, suffering first comes to the woman, always. This is why the past has been like this, because of so much strife. For the first time, we have come to a place where almost every piece of geography has some kind of a government of its own. And every piece of geography on the planet, every human being belongs to some administrative entity that you call as a government or a nation. This is the first time that we are this organized. This is the first time we have technologies and capabilities which were never before. This is the first time where man's muscle is not the only power on the planet. Because of that, women have equal possibilities in this world. Don't think it is because of some great evolution. It is just technology has taken away the significance of man's muscle. It's important that it stays that way, but once there is food strife, once there is water strife, then once again it will come back. Who has more muscle will rule the world. I want all of you to remember this. Whoever has more muscle will rule the world, whether the muscle is in the form of human muscle or arms and armaments, whatever. Whoever has more muscle will rule the world. Wherever muscle rules, it is ugly. Hello? So it's a crucial moment in our life, it's a crucial moment in this generation's life, it's a crucial moment in the history of humanity that we are in a cusp of time where if we act now, in the next 10 to 15 years' time, we can turn this situation around significantly. But if you allow it to simply go as it is for another 25 to 30 years, it will become very difficult. If we allow it to go for another 35 to 40 years, it will become nearly impossible because according to UNFAO right now, the average loss of biodiversity per year is 27,000 species per year. 27,000 species of organisms are going extinct per year. If you allow this to happen for another 30 to 35 years, it'll become nearly impossible to turn this around. So we are in this moment of history where if we do the right things, we could be that generation which turn back from the brink of a disaster. or we could be that generation which slept through and fell into a disaster, and of course, those who lived through that will cry later, will grieve over it later. I'm saying this because this has been the unfortunate history of most societies on the planet. Every time there is a war, every time we manufacture widows and orphans in the world, we will cry about it. We will say, never again this will happen. But within a few years, we are at it the same damn thing, again and again and again all over the world. This is happening because we have a way of sleeping through the problems. Only when it bursts open in front of us, then we cry. If we sleep through this, is sleep a crime? Hello? Is sleep a crime? No. But if you sleep through your life, you're a disaster. And I want you to know, a disaster is always worse than a crime. Crime causes small damage, disaster means widespread damage. But if we sleep through our life, that's what will happen. And right now we are at this crucial juncture where as a generation, we have the power to turn it around or let it by. It's my wish and my blessing that as a generation, we must turn this around. If you look at the faces of your children, what does your heart speak? I don't know. How much ever wealth you have, how much ever education you have, how much ever access to money you have, believe me, once there are food shortages, all this will mean nothing. I want you to just imagine a situation. Let's say in this city, 40% of the people don't have food to eat. What do you think will happen? If they look at you and you're well-fed, you think they will let you walk on the street? Terrible things will happen. Your civilization, what could be built over 1,000 years can be pulled down in 3 days of food shortages. Your very humanity will evaporate because this is what has happened in the past. This is not new to us. Famines have happened in the past. Hundreds and thousands of people have died of famines. At those times, terrible things happened, which human beings should not see, definitely should not do once again. After all this technology, after this infrastructure, education, capabilities that we have built, once again if we drive ourselves into a famine, this is the dumbest thing we have done in our life. Hello? But famines are not far away because this year itself, last year in 2021, the World Food Programme distributed food worth $9 billion. This year they want $15 billion. 2023, they want $22 billion. You think you can solve the world's problem going on distributing food like this all over the world? You think it's a possibility? Unless food grows where people are, there is really no solution. If that has to happen, the soil has to be rich. There is no other way. There is simply no other way. Soil where we live must have the necessary richness. Richness means it must be alive, it's a living entity. It is the largest living system, not just on this planet, it is the largest living system in the known universe. Nowhere else is there a substance like soil. It is magic. It makes… mud becomes food. It is not a small thing. It is truly magical, isn't it? Hello? One day I want you to try this. One day instead of food, just eat mud. Just eat mud, one meal. You will understand what I'm talking. If we don't keep that rich, that is what we will be eating. I had a very disturbing scene yesterday. I was in the desert near Aqaba. I saw this camel eating up its own dung. I felt so bad for this animal. What is happening? Because whether it's a human being or an animal, they have necessary intelligence not to do such things. It is eating up its own dung. I thought, what the hell is happening? And I looked around, nowhere there is one speck of green. The only green thing is his dung. I'm saying, let's not drive ourselves to this situation because within a few decades, 2 to 3 decades, we could drive ourselves that we could be that camel. Yes, I want you to understand, when famines have struck societies, terrible things have happened. Terrible things means there have been hundreds of incidences around the world where people have chopped off their own children's hands and eaten it to survive. Do we want to take humanity in that direction? We should never, never drive humanity into that place. It doesn't matter which country it is, which religion it is, which race it is, nobody should go there. This much humanity we must have for every living being on this planet. It happened one day. This was in 2060. On that day, a group of scientists sought an appointment with God. They got the appointment, they went there, and then they said, "Hey, old man, you've done pretty well with creation, but everything that you can do, we can also do. Time you retire." God said, "Oh, is that so? What is it that you can do?" They said, "Look at this." And they dug up some soil, made a vague image of a human child, they did all kinds of things, and the child came alive. God said, "That's very impressive, but first get your own soil." You may do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You cannot replace anything with… you cannot replace soil with anything. Do not misunderstand, there is some technology somewhere. Technologies can enhance application. Technologies cannot create the basic source. The body that you have is soil, the clothes that you wear is soil, the furniture that you sit upon is soil, just about anything that you touch, every life that you see around you is soil. And we have brought that to its knees. 52% of the world's soil is degraded. Not one country has an average of 3%, which is seen as the minimum to keep soil alive. Minimum to keep soil alive or to call soil as soil is 3% organic content. Not a single country in the world has 3% average. Northern Europe has 1.48%, Southern Europe has 1.1 to 1.2%, India has 0.68%, Africa has 0.3%, United States of America has 1.25 to 1.3%. Not a single nation in the world has an average of 3%. We must, in this generation, aim at creating an average of 3% organic content. If this needs to happen, I beg all the policymakers and the scientists, the well-being of the soil, the aliveness of the soil and the many other complex aspects that are there to agroeconomy, these two things must be separated if we want action on the ground. Otherwise, we will have only conferences and conferences. Anyway, in a week or so, I am speaking at the COP15, where 197 nations have their representatives participating. By then, if you get me over 3 billion to 3.5 billion people talking about soil, in many ways, this is a done thing. We can push it with the governments. There are many steps further, but at least we can change the narrative. First thing is to change the narrative. The way we think and feel must change before our action changes, right? How we think and feel must change, then only our actions will change. If every one of us is conscious that soil is a living entity and we express our concern for that entity because 52% of the world's soil is degraded, if you can get 3 to 4 billion people to express that, all of you are sitting with this very smart companion. I'm not talking about your husband or wife, you know. Your very smart companion. Put that companion to work. Every day if you spend 15–20 minutes, just this many people can reach 3 to 4 billion people, just believe me. Yes or no? Yes. The question is only, will we do it or not? The question is only, will we do it or not? Okay. That's great. Thank you very much. And I can take one or two questions if somebody has an important question. It need not necessarily about soil, anything. If you get me this many people who are here today, I will reduce the goals for you because already we have… in our estimates, many experts are telling us we easily could have touched somewhere around 1.3 billion people. Right now, in this, if the people of Amman take this up and in the next 1 week to 15 days, if you touch 1 billion people, that they don't have to support our movement or me or something, they have to say something about soil, they're concerned for soil. They're concerned for life on this planet. If you get them to say it, I will promise you, within the next 18 months, I will visit your city once again. That is only if I hear wherever I go the voice of Amman reverberating across the world, if you make that happen, you will see me again. Please, if you have a question, who? Yeah, please, that lady. Who has got the microphone, please.
Hi.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi, how are you? My name is Zaid. I'd like to ask you something regarding the practicality of measuring soil health. Are there any indices around the world that could tell you whether this soil is healthy or not? For example, listening to soil or the sound of soil, sound of worms living in the earth. Do you think this could be something that could potentially help scientists at the beginning and then people to really realize or understand the health of the soil? At least put an index to it, for example. Thank you.
I'm sorry, please, can you just repeat the last part?
Yeah, so I guess I'm asking that, do you think sound of the soil, if you actually…
Sound
of the soil, if you are able to listen to the earthworms in the soil or all the microbial life living in the soil, do you think it could be an index that can allow people to measure soil health? Thanks.
Well, is the Earthworm Band creating some music for us? Yes, they are, but we must understand this. What you can hear in your ears is just a small band of frequencies. What is below that is called subsonic, what is over that is called ultrasonic. You don't hear both subsonic and ultrasonic sounds. Most beings of the earth, most creatures of the earth, including of water like whales and even elephants, they all communicate in subsonic sounds. There's a lot of work in that area. We know that even insects and worms are communicating in a certain way. To such an extent, this is why it's very important. As human beings, we have drawn boundaries, cut this world like a cake. This is my piece, that's your piece, this is your piece, that's my piece, and we're fighting over that endlessly. But for the life in the soil, there is no such borders, there is no such boundaries, because the communication between them is happening across the globe. There is substantial studies establishing that. Is it necessarily sound as you know it? Because for you, sound is only what you hear, but every reverberation is a sound. Where there is a vibration, there is a sound, isn't it? The question is only whether you can hear it or not. Most of it you cannot hear it. See, to put it in many different ways, right now, if you pick up your phone and do this, you hear the voice. But the voice is already in the air, isn't it? Otherwise, how will your phone pick it up? Your phone is an instrument which is transforming a certain vibration into a hearing mode for you. So similarly, there is reverb about every life. Not only life, even inanimate things have their own reverb. Are you sensitive enough to hear this? If you have to, as I said earlier, the problem is you have too much information, you have no attention. All the young people, I want you to get this. Without attention, without very serious, keen attention, towards life. No door in the universe will open, you'll just have stuff in your head. You will not experience anything. So, if you pay attention, yes, I wouldn't call it sound because people understand sound in a certain way, but there is a language to nature. It is always speaking. Are you willing to listen is the only question. See, I am not a… people are asking me, Sadhguru, when did you become a soil scientist? I never said I am a scientist. I am a worm. I crawled on this planet, I've lived here for 6.5 decades. I'm alive and I know how life works here. Oh, we also lived on the planet, how come we do not know? No, you did not live on the planet, you living in your head. You have misunderstood your psychological space for existential reality. That is the biggest problem. You must listen to the earth, very important. Please.
Very much
Okay.
for giving us this beautiful talk today. Within your talk, you mentioned that we are soil and we are going to be back to soil. I wonder, would you promote like…
Little closer, if you can hold the microphone.
Yeah.
Microphone little closer, yeah.
Yeah, would you promote like people be buried or even allow them to be eaten, the remains of the people to be eaten by scavengers or something, to return them to the soil rather than about 30% of the humans are being cremated and we're denying the soil of the most important nutrients that goes back to it. Would you promote that?
And thank you. Question,
So-
what are the specific actions we can take as activists and as people who care about the soil? Tell us, Guru, what are the actions as individuals
Okay,
we can
we'll-
take as
we'll
a
come to
follow-up
that.
question? Thank you.
Welcome to… thank you. So, about how to dispose the dead. Now, well, if you bury, your flesh will become part of the soil very soon, very quickly. That is if you bury without a box, which you're not doing anymore, I think. Your bones will take a certain amount of time. If you cremate, everything is done in 90 minutes and then normally in India they will cremate and spread the ashes in 3 different rivers. There are different reasons for that, I will not go into that now, but that's another way of putting it back into the earth. I'm saying, at this point, sir, I would request you at this point, people ask me these kind of questions, people ask me, Sadhguru, if we give up meat eating, will it be better? I don't want to talk about any of these things because I want meat eaters, I want cremators, I want burial people, I want people who feed it to the birds, I want all of them on the side of soil. We don't want to divide the world on those who cremate versus those who bury. Because because most human beings are just waiting for a difference, how you and me can fight. Oh, you are a cremation person, I'm a burial person, so we will fight endlessly. So many fights have happened like this already. So at this point in the life of this generation, please every one of you commit yourself not to dig for differences, please dig for a common ground. That is what is most important. About what individual people can do in terms of what we can do physically, or you said, I think I heard the word activist, did I? Okay. As an activist, what do I do? See, this is the most important thing. We always think physical action is more important than other things we can do. Right now, I'm telling you, at this point, the most important thing is to use your voice. Use your voice in a responsible way, not in a resentful way, not in a hateful way, not against somebody, but as one humanity, we must use our voice, because why I'm telling you this is, if it is not enshrined in the policy of nations in the world, whatever good things we may do will not last. See, you have your land, I have my land, both of us are taking care of this wonderfully well. where is the guarantee that the next generation will take care of it? This is all that's happened, isn't it, right now? It was good and in 1 or 2 generations we've destroyed it. So if you and me take care of it well, there is still no guarantee that it'll be taken care of in the next generation. We are looking at policy because once it becomes the law, it stays that way and generations to come have to follow it. For example, I'm not familiar with this city, but in any city, there will be an old part of the city. If you go there, you will see homes are built wall to wall. There is no concept of a window in these homes. You have such homes in your city? Definitely you will have. Any old city always has this. Only one door to go walk in and walk out. But today, if you want to build a home in this city, there are laws which tell you, if you have 10,000 square feet of land, you can't build 10,000 square feet building, you have to build only 6,000–7,000, you must allow some space for yourself, your neighbor. If you build more, somebody will come and demolish it, yes or no? But if you have 100 acres of land, you can plow every inch of it and rich land, in 10–15 years, you turn it into a desert, nobody will ask you, why have you done it? Because there is no law. This is all that's happened to the soil. And always there is a whole lot of talk about, let us save the rainforest, let's save the ocean. I want you to understand, probably most of these people don't know what's a rainforest. I've lived in forests for long periods. You don't have to do anything about rainforest. If you stay out, it will come back. The same thing with ocean, our footprint in the ocean, if you withdraw a little bit, ocean will just bounce back. We are talking about 70% of the earth's land, which is agricultural land. What agricultural land means is, this is a piece of geography where every day human hand is tending to it and ruining it. The part of the world where human hand is tending should be in the best condition, but unfortunately it's in the worst condition. So, men and women are tending to this land on a daily basis, but we are doing what we are doing. This is the easiest piece of land to turn around. And this is not just a piece of land, this is also our food, this is also our economic activity, this is also the well-being of nations and the power of nations, if you want to look at it that way. So this piece of land has to be nurtured. What we are talking about is raising the organic content. We are not talking about, because these things were mentioned, I'm saying, I am not talking about organic farming, I am not talking about regenerative farming, I am not talking about any kind of philosophy. Because for me, agriculture is not a religious process, not a philosophical process, it's just a practical activity which is for our nourishment and the economic well-being of the people who engage in it. So, it's extremely important we see it that way. People who live in cities should not promote any kind of agriculture. You must just let the farmer decide what kind of agriculture he wants to do. Only thing I am asking is, wherever your organic content is right now, if governments offer a certain incentive, economic incentive for the farmer to get it to 3%, because 3% is considered as minimum organic content to keep the microbes alive and well-fed. That's what it is. 3% is not the ultimate. If you raise the organic content to 8 to 10%, the irrigation requirement in the world will come down to 30% of what we are using right now. That is, if you're using, let's say, 100 million liters of water, it'll come down to 30 million liters of water. If you raise it to 12 to 15%, it will come down to 10 to 15%. That is, in a given plant, if you're using 100 liters of water, it can be brought down to 10 to 15 liters because the moisture holding capability of the soil is greatly enhanced only when there is organic content, and in turn there is microbial activity. Life happens and holds water. If we keep the soil in good condition, we can store 800% more water in the soil than what is there in all the rivers of the world put together. That is the capacity of the soil. Right now, soil has turned into sand because we pulled out all the organic content. So this is a basic thing. There are many other issues, not that we are not concerned about it. There are many other issues, no question about it. Are they important? Very important. But it's like this. Right now, my ankle is hurting. It is not, I'm just telling. My eyeballs are hurting, it is. My liver, something is going on funny. Now 3 specialists arrived. My orthopedic, my ophthalmologist and the liver person, all 3 arrived. But suddenly I discovered I have cancer which could kill me in the next month. Tell me, which should I attend to first? What is life and death is what you attend to first, isn't it? Right now we are talking about soil extinction, that means the death of the soil. If you do not attend to this, all the other problems, see for a dead man, all problems are gone, isn't it? Hello? Have you ever been to a funeral? Huh? You've seen that man like that. You go tell him in his ear, you know, look at your little baby, she's come. You tell him, here you won a lottery, $1 billion. Whatever the hell you tell him, because that's what death means. Once you take life out of it, nothing matters. Right now, that's where we are. We are taking the life out of the soil. If we don't put that back, all the other concerns which are important to be attended to, but none of them will matter. Now why I'm refusing to tell you even a small thing that you could do by yourself for your self-satisfaction is, the time for self-satisfaction is gone. We must all focus on the solution. You roll up your hands, you roll up your sleeves and go and fix your kitchen garden. This is very cute of you, but it's not a solution. So this is important, that you and me don't start doing things which personally satisfies us, because the time for that is gone. The time for fixing my backyard, you must fix it, I'm not saying you should not, but the time for fixing that and thinking I have done what I have to do is gone. The solution needs to be beaten down, not by 1 or 2 people, by the entire population. I am only asking for 60%. Hello? Will you give me 60%? Thank you very much. Thank you. There is a soil anthem, a simple song that we created. It's not really a song, just a sound, you know, it's like the sounds that you're talking about. Please listen to it and make sure that it reverberates in your family, in your community, in your nation and across the world, because these are simple ways to connect the world and make them feel like one, because we are one. We come from the same soil. We come from the same soil. We go back to the same soil. Let's make it happen.
جينا بالحب جينا يا تربة الحبيبة، وعدا من دون وعهدا والعهد لن يخيبا، لا صمت لا سكوتا والوقت لن يفوتا، إن نحمي الترابا حبا يعطي وقوتا. لا 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 la 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 بالحب جينا يا تربة الحبيبة، وعدا منا وعهدا والعهد لن يخيبا. لا صمت لا سكوتا والوقت لن يفوتا، إن نحمي الترابا حبا